Hi everybody, it's David.
And Huey. And today we're gonna have a serious discussion.
About homosexuality in society, past and present. So let's start with here, America. Back in the days, like a while ago, the native people used to have this kind of third gender that they used to call the two-spirit people. They were either homosexual, bisexual, or gender fluid. This was all happening before the Europeans came to colonize the America.
Yeah, and usually in that culture, the two-spirit people is a very highly regarded kind of position.
Exactly, it's a high status.
Yeah.
So homosexual and transgender were also very common in the Mayan and Aztec communities.
Yeah, this is prior to all the colonization and
Yeah, before the Spanish came.
Yeah.
Actually, when they came and they noticed that sodomy was really common in those society, they were shocked and they were like disgusted by it, and they just punished it by law and everything. So that's when it went down here in America.
So let's shift focus to East Asia. Homosexuality has actually been found in a very early recorded scripture. In China, homosexuality was known as the pleasures of the bitten peach. Like, bitten bottom?
I like the graphic of that. So homosexuality in Japan was recorded for over 1,000 years ago, and it was known as shudo or nanshoku. And it had some connection with the monastic Buddhist life and the samurai traditions. So in Thailand, there's also a third gender called the katoi, or as we call them, the ladyboys.
Yeah, and we actually went to Thailand this year, and we had like first-hand experience on ladyboys, and you know, like it's so amazing that they are such an accepting culture. Like a ladyboy would integrate so well with society is not like the stigma that we have here in the Americas, where transgender persons still face so many bullying and abuse. But no, like in Thailand, it is so accepting, and it's kind of like part of their culture and tradition.
Yeah, and they're everywhere, and it's really accepted. You see no people being like rude to them, or like we haven't witnessed that at all.
Yeah.
It's really accepted, and it's just there with regular people, and there's no discrimination against them, which is amazing.
Yeah. So let's talk about Europe. One of the notable things about ancient Europe, especially ancient Roman or Greek culture, is actually has a lot of records of homosexuality. And except in the Roman society, it was very common and considered a good practice for an older man of high position have a sexual relationship with a younger, often adolescent.
Yeah,
boy.
exactly. Once you would be associated with that older man, he would become your mentor, and it was really accepted within the society.
Oh, and like I don't know if this is actually true, but I wish it was. There's been a lot of discussions about how the Spartans soldier would actually, would have sexual relationship with each other to sort of form that bond, which is like really, really strong. Because like if you have sexual relationship with someone, it kind of elevated your relationship to the next level, right? And it make them stronger as an army. So I don't know if that's entirely true.
A deeper connection kind of thing.
Yeah, they actually encourage sexual relationship between men.
So in the Middle East, actually it's not very well documented because it always been like nowadays. So either they ignore it or it's totally illegal. So mostly in the Muslim culture, it never really has been accepted. You can still see it nowadays in Iran, Saudi Arabia, all those countries around the Middle East. It's not really accepted there. Neither for a third gender or homosexuality, none of this. So basically it's either ignored or illegal. Yeah. Sadly for our friends there in Saudi Arabia, Iran, and those countries around there, it's often the death penalty if you get caught.
Yeah, well, hopefully that's gonna change over time, sooner rather than later. Okay, so in regard to South Asia, India and the surrounding countries, it's actually very interesting because the culture itself, the culture and the tradition, has a long history of being accepting towards homosexuality because of Hinduism. Like similarly to Buddhism, Hinduism teach people to kind of like love and embrace everybody as a way of life. But I feel like what happened is when politics started getting involved and people with narrow-minded point of view start getting into power,
Yeah.
and kind of start enforcing this negative outlook.
Exactly. Basically, when Christianity arrived with the colonization of India and everything, that's when it started to go down. It was less accepted. But the Hindu law actually it accept like there's even a third sex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also in South Pacific, like Papua New Guinea. I don't know how to say that. Can you say it?
No, I don't know how to say it.
Okay. So in New Guinea, is it New Guinea?
New Guinea.
Papua New
Guinea. Like guinea pig.
Papua New Guinea. Is that how you say this? How do you say that?
I have no idea. Just say
In the
in
South
the South
Pacific.
Pacific.
So in the South Pacific, in some tribe, it was actually there was homosexual relationship and it was really accepted. Some tribes were also seeing heterosexual relationship as bad. So it was the total opposite. They would make babies with female, but they would not have a relationship with them.
That's interesting. I want to move there.
Well, it also includes being in a tribe, which in a really remote area. I don't know if you would survive.
So in Africa, actually, there's a lot of speculations in regards to homosexuality recorded in the history of Africa. There's a lot of different point of views, and it's neither for it or against it, but totally like that completely changed since the colonization as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys have been following the story of a lot of countries in Africa. There's actually a lot of Christian groups that would come into the country and spread, this teaching of how bad and how sinful homosexuality is. So that's when it becomes such, like a negative thing in society. But prior to that, there's not any clear indication of whether people were against it or were for it.
Basically, Christianity brought this animosity against homosexuality there. Here we go. So society changed with time, and I hope you find that interesting.
And well, if you happen to be from one of those regions that we didn't mention and you have like a different perspective, well, feel free to let us know in the comment section. Would love to learn more about different, tradition and customs regard to homosexuality around the world.
Exactly. And if you have any questions as well, you can ask us and we'll try to respond the best we can. See you guys!